Although there were some funny jokes coming from
Of course.
LGBTQ sports Twitter, because they're like, all right, well, actively gay means that there's definitely a opens room for a DMP gay.
What is
then you have questionable gay, probable gay.
This is like active gay.
Yeah.
Assumes there's like an inactive gay. Like
It's like, yeah, when I get
I'm gay, but I'm not active.
There was this one girl
gay, I
that
just
said,
don't get
yeah,
burned.
when I go to parties, I'm passively gay. I'm like, what the hell does that mean?
I got ice in my veins. Walk like a champion, champion, champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I fear nobody. Ain't no letting down, I won't let you down. 'Cause I got ice in my veins. I talk like a champion, like a champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I'm so cold-blooded. I fear nobody, I fear nobody. I walk like a champion.
What's going on, everybody? This is another iteration, another episode of the Saratobi Sports Pod, episode 95. 95 is a good number because it was the year I was born. And if you don't already know, it is I, Dio. Just kidding, it's me. Justin, JT, just in transition, just stuck in traffic, just a friend, just on his phone.
Just old as shit.
Damn right. And to my right, a man that needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyway. Someone who arguably, I don't know, he went down to the Dominican Republic, changed his hair, and thinks he's a baseball player now.
The thing is, I don't feel like baseball players you have dyed hair. I thought you'd go soccer.
Baseball
especially
players don't have dyed hair.
colored dyed hair.
Yes.
Really?
John,
I
blonde
think
is a
of
color.
Soccer players.
Yeah, well, whatever. We don't pay you
anyway.
to. We don't pay you to think. That is John
Not
Mutu.
paying me at all.
Dijon mustard. How's it going?
I'm good.
Okay, that's good.
I'm
That's
ready.
good. And to my other right, someone who did not dye their hair. Thank God.
You're doing wonders for my confidence, guys.
The leader at the Cock Center, Mr. Worldwide West.
The head cock.
Because everywhere I go, I lead a oh shit! I'm
Lead a
fucking.
world.
Yeah. I lead.
You
I
lead
lead
the world. Damn.
I lead the worldwide mess.
Oh man,
The
What's
grand
up,
cock.
everybody? How's it going?
He's the tip.
The grand cock is crazy. Yes.
Oh, this pod is getting off to
That was
a,
great.
Yes.
a blistering start here.
Oh,
And to my
indeed.
far right,
Unfuck yourself, everybody. Unfuck yourself.
wow.
Yes.
Oof. And to my far right, but not that far right, the Saratobi Soundman himself, the Gabagool, the man from the above, beyond the beyond, Matt Barba.
Good evening.
I never know what Matt's gonna say, but
I don't
takes,
either.
He takes such a pause. I just like I'm like antsy.
Because
Like,
I'm in
what's
the
it gonna
moment,
be?
I'm just like, is there a joke here? And then there's not, so I just say something
It's
stupid.
okay, man.
Hey,
No,
guys,
Matt, the
you
joke
know?
is John's hair. Don't worry. I didn't. Honestly, when I came into the studio today and I saw John's hair, I did not expect to have like 4 hair jokes within the first minute and a half of the pod. But here we are.
When I was doing it yesterday, I was talking to my friend who was helping me, and I was literally like, I'm fully prepared to get roasted in the studio tomorrow.
It's all right. Fernando
Now I got to
Tatis.
now what
It's
he
all
is
good.
because he's not.
Fernando John Teese?
Yes.
That's good.
That's fire.
That's
that's fire.
good.
Yes, there it is. You know what I'm saying? And now you got something.
I do.
This is your nickname now, Fernando John Teese.
I will take that.
That's actually too good. Now
Why
you
do you
can't
say?
stand.
Damn, you know what
Why
that?
are you hating?
No, you know what it
I'm
is.
hating on my own shit. What's up?
He's not Guyanese no more. He's Haitian. That's the
No.
most. That
Yo.
sounds like the most Haitian name. Fernando John Teese. Come on, bro.
Oh man! Oh man!
He is
Oh,
Haitian
man.
now.
Oh my god. No, I can't do the nickname.
That's funny as shit.
No,
Wow,
so
man.
pick one.
Yeah.
It's either going to
God.
be Guyanese John or Haitian John.
Haitian John, shout out to Kendall.
Hell yeah!
Oh, boy. But you know what? Another week has gone by. Another week in sports. Unfortunately for me, my basketball season fandom, or my fandom, my team has come to an end.
It's all right.
It was sad. Unlike these guys over here, my team was actually the better team in the series. We weren't beat by a better team. But you know what? Karma. Actually, I can't even say karma because karma had nothing to do with
That's
the
what Stephen A.
loss.
said.
That's what Stephen A. said.
Yeah.
Yep.
The basketball gods are some straight up whores. Because I don't deserve this. Nets fans don't deserve this. You know how long we waited? It's been 19 years since we've been to an Eastern Conference Finals. 19 years, all right? I survived the dog days in Jersey right? I survived going to the Prudential Center and watching a 13-win team. I survived watching a team whose best player was Brook Lopez.
All-star Brook Lopez.
All-star Brook Lopez. And then I survived the KG Paul Pierce trade. And this is what they do to me. I finally get a semblance of something good in my life. KD, Kyrie, and the James Hardens, and you take them away from me? How dare you, basketball gods? You let the alphabet man slide his big-ass feet underneath Kyrie, ankle's gone. Then you were like, oh yeah, James Harden's hamstring, yeah, we're taking that away too. Wow. That's messed up. Absolutely insane. Like I said last pod, Kevin Durant is flat out the best basketball player on the planet right now. Bron-sexuals, please, just cut it out. I beg you, I promise you, LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of our generation. He is. That being said, Kevin Durant, right at this point in time, yep, Nets legend Kevin Garnett. Kevin Durant. Speaking of, wait, time out before I get back to my next point. Speaking of Kevin Garnett, did you guys see the video clip? I forget what show it was, but I want to say it was Lamar Odom talking about. It's either Lamar Odom, some basketball player talking about Kevin Durant, Kevin Garnett, about
Sound
them.
it out, baby. Take your time.
I know.
Take your time.
Talking about them facing the I think the Timberwolves, or when he was on the Timberwolves way back when.
Yeah.
And they're talking about Darius Miles. And apparently they were dunking like all game. And he was like, ooh, these young niggas got my dick hard. Bro, shit was wild. I kid you not. If you haven't seen the video clip, go to Twitter, look it up.
I gotta
Bro,
find
that's
that
like what the press conference where Mike Tyson starts yelling, "I'm gonna fuck you in the ass."
Yeah.
Like that.
So I'm gonna fuck you till you love me.
But at least like when Tyson was doing it, as messed up as it was, and there was a lot of like homophobic slurs thrown in there, he was doing it in like an insulting way.
Yeah.
Like Kevin Garnett, Ali, how is that the first thing you see a bunch of dudes dunking and doing
Bro,
high
he's a
flying
fake
stuff,
tough guy. He doesn't know what to say.
and that's what you say?
Nah, you shouldn't.
That's
say
mad, bro.
Yeah.
Pause again. But anyway, back to my next point. Yeah, Kevin Durant, the best basketball player on the planet right now. That does not mean his legacy is better than LeBron's. I feel like LeBron fans are having a very, very hard time distinguishing between the two because
They're not mutually exclusive.
they're not mutually exclusive because let's be honest. Oh, KD's not held to the same standards as LeBron. Well, LeBron is the only player we've ever put in the GOAT conversation. I don't think I've ever heard anybody put Kevin Durant in the GOAT conversations.
Agreed. I feel like his conversation is what we kind of have agreed on.
Yeah,
him being
which is greatest scorer of all time. But
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. LeBron rebounds better. He facilitates better. This is what it is, right? I mean, damn you, KD, for wearing a size larger than your foot actually is. A shoe size away from going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Amazing shot.
I mean, and the mess up thing is the game itself, his individual performance, and that shot will be forgotten in the annals of history because they lost the game. Same with his performance in Game 5. It'll be forgotten because not amongst Nets fans, obviously. This is going to live on forever for Nets fans. But casual basketball fan or just basketball history, it'll just be the Nets lost to the Bucks in the semifinals.
That's how it goes, yo.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was good.
It doesn't really matter about who. Not necessarily. It doesn't matter about who was there, who was not. But in history, some things get lost. 2015 when the Warriors beat the Cavs. Obviously our generation is gonna be like, oh yeah, well the Warriors won. Well, not exactly.
Well, that's what it goes. I don't know why nobody ever get. I mean, I guess I know why. I know why. I shouldn't say I don't know, but context matters. It always matters.
Indeed.
Right? So when you have lazy narratives and things and you look back on history, context matters. So if you're just looking at it from a broader scope, a Kevin Durant led team lost in the semifinals. Okay. You peel back the onion a little bit. Why did that Kevin Durant team lose? Oh, he was missing his second best player and the other player was on one leg. And the fourth best player wanted to shoot like a bozo. What is it?
Like me out there.
What's his face in Along Came Polly?
Never seen it.
Damn. Oh, damn it. You uncoached people. You know what I'm talking. Matt, you don't know. Oh.
What's not racist but feels racist.
Oh,
Matt,
I was.
you know.
I was. Oh.
You know, Matt.
Matt. damn it. Anyways, yeah, Joe Harris. Yeah, pack watch. And he had the nerve to do this on Juneteenth. On Juneteenth, Joe Harris, a white man.
I just want to say,
white man had the nerve to do this. Crazy.
One of my friends had a bet that was KD for 40 plus and the Nets to win, right? So I think KD hit 40 points probably like a little bit of the near the end of the fourth quarter, right? So KD hits that shot. We're all watching the game. Crazy. Like, the excitement is in the air, and then they show the replay, and then I see his foot's on the line, and I'm like, nah, something's about to go wrong. 2 points in overtime later, and we had a lot of sad people watching this game.
Hey, man, that, first of all, like, that man was tired.
Tired.
Oh, and that's completely understandable, because before that the very last shot that he took a mid-range shot that was so short.
Yes.
Just grazed the front of the rim. And I would look at him and I was like, he cannot shoot the ball anymore.
Legs,
but
man.
that white man Joe was just out here throwing up bricks on all them open threes.
55 seconds left. The screenshot. The ball gets kicked out to Joe Harris. Nobody within a hemisphere of Joe. The game that's the game right there. If he hits that shot, then that's win the game. And yet he folded. Oh, it hurt. I'm not gonna lie, it hurt. It was a very sour feeling. But you know,
got to hurt even more because then, it's kind of like going full circle on kind of what we were talking about earlier in the season about what the expectations around the Nets.
I was gonna ask you about that because you're the one that said it's a failure of a season. So is it still technically with all the variables in play? Does it still count as a failure?
I mean, if we being objective as possible, yeah.
And
and I mean, like, obviously, like, injuries and stuff happen, but they even outside of that, like you said it, Joe Harris plays better, they win the game. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about having your superstars play well. It comes down to your role players also playing well.
It comes down to having good role players.
Yeah, and it's not that I think Joe is bad. I don't think Joe's a bad player.
I think Joe's
but
great.
Man's led the league in 3-point shooting this
Joe's
year.
a role player.
Yeah.
I think we'd all like
Yeah,
the team.
but he had a very underwhelming second half of the season. I think we can all basically attest to that.
Harden went out.
Yeah, like once Harden went out, that kind of like derailed everything. But to me, I still feel like it's a disappointment. And shout out Shannon Sharp because he kind of put it frank, like, all right, nah, because when it's LeBron, we kind of have this energy that's just like, all right, well, LeBron does. It's kind of like the expectation is that LeBron will win, and when he doesn't, he's a failure. And if people are gonna hold KD to this high standard, I feel like we need to feel the same.
But that's what it goes. But that kind of goes back to what I was saying.
And I get what you're
because we hold LeBron to the GOAT standard.
Of course.
I don't think anybody's ever held KD to the GOAT standard, so I think that's why I don't. And here's the thing: it's not fair with the slander LeBron gets. It's
not.
It's absolutely atrocious. Like,
it's absolutely not.
Like, there's only basketball's a team sport. There's only so much one man can do. You can't score all the points.
A bunch of bums for a long time.
Yeah. So the slander that LeBron gets is absolutely stupid. I think that it also kind of plays into two wrongs don't make a right. Because it's like, oh, you would have slandered LeBron for this. Well, we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be harping on, oh, because LeBron gets slandered, we have to do that, because it's just going to keep the cycle going. So when LeBron retires, right, are we going to do the same thing with like Luka or Trey? It's like, oh, we didn't slander Trey like this, or we didn't slander Donovan Mitchell like this, so we got to do this to this person. Like, it's an endless cycle. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But I don't think it's fair when you compare, especially because one person's legacy is definitely going to be better than the others.
Of course, but the beauty about being great and having greatness attached to you, and this one thing when, you know, we're talking about KD here. Now, KD, he's won rings. He's won an MVP. He's won scoring titles. So, I mean, while we're not holding him to the same standard as Michael Jordan and LeBron James's GOAT level, he's considered by most and by some of the people on this podcast as the greatest scorer of all time. Now, if I'm being completely fair and if I'm being completely objective, I don't think it's fair to bring Luka, to bring Giannis, to bring like kind of those kind of players into the conversation, because, mind you, Giannis has won MVPs. Luka's has won 2 first-team All NBAs at his young age, but it's not KD, bro. And I think that's just like, I get that we hold LeBron to this standard of being an elite level player, to being like one of the greatest, obviously the greatest of this generation. But I just don't understand why, like, you know, the slander around KD is like, you know, he did the best that he could. It's just glaringly different.
So my thing about that is I agree with that. Like you were saying, the amount of slander LeBron gets is insane. That does come with the territory with being compared to the greatest of all time. That's always going to happen.
Of course.
But people also tend to look at past people through rose-colored glasses.
Yes.
My thing, and Shannon always brings it up with Kawhi,
Yep.
is I think that one, the level of LeBron slander needs to go down a bit because it is unfair. But at the same time, it's more so being held accountable. Like, I'll give you, because Luka really hasn't done much from a team standpoint so far. If the Bucks lose this series, right? The Bucks lose this series with a hurt Kyrie, a hurt Harden, having at that point the better roster because those people are hurt and better role players, right? On paper. You need to hold people like that accountable. You need to hold Giannis accountable. So as much as you're like, yeah, the when does the cycle of slander stop? I think that it does need to stop to an extent, but at one point it's not slander. It's more so just like, why does Kawhi not get the smoke for doing shit, for not doing things at a certain level as other stars? Because I feel like KD gets it. I feel like he obviously doesn't get it to the same level. Also, I think the other thing that tilts the way we look at KD is because he came off a catastrophic injury. One of the things about LeBron is he's never really had that. So, like, motherfuckers just happy to see KD out there, especially the way he came this season and was really hooping, like, not like everything was normal, but like he came back like, I still does this. Like this, I'm still, like, he was who we thought he was, at one, like, arguably the greatest scorer of all time.
Literally. Get that?
So I think that goes into it, and it just sucks because it's like, I feel like we could all agree if Kyrie played that the Nets would have won the series.
If Harden had
yeah.
even half, if he had 3/4 of a leg.
And you know how
we
I
win
feel
the
about
game.
James Harden in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I actually had to defend James Harden against some people because
I know that had to be tough for you.
Yeah, not because I hate James Harden. I don't hate James Harden. I think he's a good player. I just my thing is always he does not have he's not had a playoff moment. My parents are straight up like, this man is always choking in the playoffs, and I'm like, I agree with you, but this time this is not choking. He was real life hurt. He was real life hurt and was really trying to be out there, and because I would say the role players aren't up to, not par, but like aren't up to the level to even fill the shoes of a hurt Harden. He's got to play.
Yeah, and I
also
mean,
the decoy thing and stuff like that.
that
but,
that's why
I don't give him. KD's Game 7 was an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Your stars, a star will win you at least one game in your series. And the thing that makes the NBA playoffs difficult is that you have to do it multiple times.
You got to do it 4 times.
So, I mean, they really almost stole it if his foot wasn't like that and he knew it right away. But I don't know, man.
But that's the thing. Like, how do we get to like that happy medium of like?
It doesn't exist.
So like,
it's not realistic.
I know. So like you said, like if the Bucks were to lose a series, we'd question Giannis, right?
Yeah.
When Giannis, I think, like, look, I mean, he had a dominant.
We question Giannis. I doubt they lose the next series, but it's like you're talking about if this is a failure of a season. I think the difference is it's not a failure, but like you said, it's there's disappointment.
I mean,
There's absolute disappointment, but I don't think the only reason why I can say it's not a failure is because of the injuries and because Harden's gonna get hurt because Kyrie's was caused by someone else.
Like,
That's really why I
Yeah.
feel like it's not a failure of a season because something that significant happened, as opposed to if the Bucks don't make the finals, it's a failure of a season.
well, like in the grand scheme of things, like any season that doesn't end in a championship is technically a failure.
Yeah.
But
A la
the word,
Russell Westbrook.
it's funny because I was having this conversation with some Net fans on Twitter the other day, and it's like, well, failure, like, yes, in the grand scheme of things, it is a failure. It's an oversimplification of it without context. You know, I think it's more like you said, it's a disappointment because of all the circumstances that happened. And let's not forget, Jeff Green shouldn't really even been playing this series either because he had to plantar fasciitis. He had a miraculous game 5. But you could see he played 13 minutes in Game 7. He was limping the entire game. Every time he came out and checked out, he's limping. Like,
he emptied the tank on that.
Like, we only played 7 guys. Technically 6 because actually no, sorry, 7. We played 8. Claxton came in for a second to guard that inbound with like a second left in the regulation, so it doesn't even really count. But yeah, it is what it is. Brooke, I shout out Brooke Lopez. Got to give him the block. I mean, I think the biggest thing in that game, in the series in general, was Brooke on the offensive boards. That's really what the difference was. They had 4 more second chance points in the Nets, and we lost by 4. It is what it is.
And that's it for us here. Make sure to follow us at Saratobi Sports on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go like us on Facebook. Go follow us or subscribe to wherever you get your podcast because we're there. Please tell a friend because we does this shit. And you guys can follow me on Twitter at Defendant Narwhal. Guys?
Yo, big vibes. Make sure y'all subscribe, dog. Like, yo, we really trying to do this shit. Like, yo, please. If I can quit my job and podcast full time and make money and eventually we get famous, yo, please. Like, that would be
Should be super lit, bro.
that would be the easier route. You know what I'm saying? We could take Matt along with us, you know. He eventually robs us for some of our money and then, we got to have a dramatic breakup later on.
He owns our masters.
Yes. Straight out of Compton. But yeah, y'all have a good one. Black Lives Matter.
Oh boy, where do I begin? Yeah, as the Miles has said, Black Lives Matter. Also, Ruben wanted me to shout him out on the podcast.
Yeah.
Even though I'm pretty sure you did that earlier. So, yeah, that's.
Was there a particular thing he wanted you to shout out?
No, he just said shout him out. So.
Appreciate you, Ruben.
Yeah. That it is what it is. So, also going part of Trap Hive. Hidari. Traps all 2021, baby.
Yeah, your boy called you out for missing a lot of people in your acceptance speech, I guess.
He did, and there are many that I missed. Sorry, I just don't have the memory of an elephant. So, but yeah, Hidari gets the shout out this week, and you can put that in the thing. Traps all 2021.
I'm not gonna make a TikTok every time you say a new name.
Why not?
Because you gotta give me something more. It'll get repetitive.
I can't with these people. Haters. Goodbye, everybody.
I got ice in my veins. Walk like a champion. I'm so cold-blooded. I fear nobody. Ain't no letting down. I won't let you down. 'Cause I got ice in my veins. I talk like a champion.